This video addresses family betrayal. And it is mentioned in the Bible in five different verses, the topic of family betrayal. And I apologize for the dog panting. The first one is in Micah. For the son dishonoureth the father, the daughter rises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Matthew 10 verses 35 and 36 say, For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. And here again, this is the topic about crypto-Judaism and Freemasonry, and the fact that our country is rife with crypto-Jews who use their Freemason lodges in the same way that Jews use their synagogues. And three basic ones are to study the Babylonian Talmud, to practice Kabbalah, magic, sorcery, witchcraft, and to worship Lucifer as their god. And I know that there are a lot of Freemasons at the lower levels who are totally ignorant about what's going on in the higher degrees, and who are kept as useful idiots to, oh no, that could never happen, that's not what we do, yada yada yada, we're just a fraternal organization. That they're just used as window dressings. But my family and other families I know are they're worshiping Lucifer, like it or not. I've done the video about Freemasons throwing their children under the bus. I'll add another little story to that because the other two involved men. This involves a woman. And she and I were friends when I was attending Arizona State University in the late 70s. And she spent a summer with me. She didn't have any housing. And she went back. She was from Iowa. I know her father was a high-level Freemason because he was professor of chemistry at the university there in the town where they lived. And I have yet to know a pharmacist who has not been a 33-degree Freemason. And if you think I'm joking, just start reading the obituaries, and eventually you'll come across one where the pharmacist brags of his 33 degree. So anyway, I drove her home for Christmas in 1978, and she had told me her mother, not long after she graduated high school, her mother, for no known reason, ceased speaking to her. And this was driving her crazy, ignored her. She even met a woman in town that said, well, how can you be Dr. So-and-so's daughter? I thought he had 3 children, not 4. I mean, it was that bad. And she had told me all these stories, and I know for a fact she went to California after she graduated from high school to visit somebody, took the bus out from Iowa, and met a girl on the bus who offered her a ride to where she needed to go in Los Angeles. So she gets in the car with this girl and her, whoever he was, brother or friend, I don't remember which, and she was taken to the outskirts of LA, and she was raped. Now, this was set up for her by her Freemason father. This is what they do to their own children. And you're going to say, no, you have to be wrong. No, 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 no. These people are evil. And if you are a child of theirs and you are not part of the lodge or the clique or the coven or whatever, you are a reproach to them. You don't even have to be a Christian. They just hate the looks of you because you're not one of them. And yes, it's that bad. There's no love in them for children who are not part of the program. And I've received many comments from my other video, and people say, you're the only person that has spoken about this. So when I drove her back for Christmas to Iowa in 1978, I thought that certainly her mother, she said, my mother won't even speak to you. She'll pretend you don't exist because you're a friend of mine. And I thought, this can't be so. But indeed it was. Her mother ignored me as if I didn't exist. Now, interestingly, her brothers and sisters and her father didn't do that. But it was all a psychological game, I see now. What husband would allow his wife not to speak to their only daughter? I mean, it's just too weird. And, but yeah, that was her story. And I remember at the time, I just thought her mother was mentally ill. And indeed she is that, because most Freemasons, especially at the higher levels, for me, they're criminally insane. And we'll have another video about that. But this is what the Bible is talking about, people. It's talking, and maybe they're not even into Freemasonry or Eastern Star. Maybe they're just a really hardcore New Ager. But as we know, the New Age system is satanic as well. So this is why the Bible warns us about our own families. Now, not every family is like this, praise the Lord. There are some families who don't have this propensity, who are indeed children of God, who are Christians. Maybe some aren't. But by and large, there's going to be dissension in your family. And unless you wake up, you're not going to know why. And a lot of these bad things that have happened to people, not everything is a setup, but a huge percentage of it is. And I know this because I know how I've been played. I know how they set me up with friend after friend after friend after boyfriend, and they were all evil to the core. And none of it was for my benefit or mental health or good in any fashion. So this is what people, it's going to take a lot of people unawares when their family betrays them. And they're not going to understand why, but this is why. Between all these satanic, quote, religious systems, between the Freemasons, and they target your family. I'm going to do another video about that, how they targeted my family and drove us all apart, and it was really horrible. So they target you, and don't think they don't, because there's enough of them. That's why everything is happening now, because finally they're strong enough in number. And if I could guess how many Freemasons are in this country, what the population of both Freemason and Muslim is, out of a population of 330 million, I'm going to say it's 100 million. Yeah, easily 100 million. And look, drive throughout, small towns throughout the Midwest, and there's a lodge in every little teeny tiny town. Tiny towns that are hardly on the map have a Freemason lodge. They're that bad. So this is why the Bible warns you of your own family. These are the times we're living in. Families have been infiltrated. People have gotten to, swear allegiances. And even, look at my sister. She won't speak to me. Why? She has a Freemason husband who won't let me speak to her. She has no idea he's a Freemason. But I know for a fact he was in leagues with my cousins to murder my mother. And, but she has no clue what's going on, what the reality is in her life. So this is why the Bible, and I'm going to put the 5 verses down below so you can look them up, but this is why the Bible warns us about our own family members. Thank you.